You're listening to the Sports Bar on TalkSport. Me, Jamie Hart, and Jason Cundy. We're going to turn our attention to Everton, who are reportedly interested in signing Man City right back Kyle Walker. For more on this now, Paul McAllister from the Toffees Blue podcast. All right, Paul.
P-Dog.
Hello, guys. You okay?
Yeah. Paul, look, before we speak about Everton ahead of the new season, let's start with that story. Kyle Walker potentially joining the club this summer. Former Premier League striker Troy Deeney spoke to TalkSport today and said that Walker moving to Everton makes a lot of sense.
I think he works for both, for where both are at in their career. Obviously, Everton moved to a new stadium, tried to change the whole... Obviously, 13 players out of contract. Yeah. Kyle coming in, obviously a leader, used to winning, used to organising. He's still... as probably me and you were, still young enough mentally to connect with the younger players as well. He's not an old 35, is he, by any stretch?
Look, Paul, what's your take on Kyle Walker? Do you think it's a good move?
It's a bit out of the blue, isn't it? I thought Everton would be looking to go younger this summer. The right back positions, an area of the squad we've needed addressing for a long time. And if we were looking to just keep an experienced head there, then I would have thought we'd have looked to renew Ashley Young. But I don't know what Ashley Young's situation was, other than the fact that he turned down a deal that was offered to him. So maybe they're looking for a similar profile type player.
You don't seem very convinced about one of the best right backs to ever play in the Premier League.
Was one of the best right backs, Jamie. He's not still one of the best right backs now, is he?
Okay, but no disrespect, but you're Everton.
I get that, but maybe it's just the supporter in me. You don't want to have too many short-term solutions, and it feels like Everton have got enough kind of short-term solutions at the moment, and maybe you'd like someone a bit younger. You think, right, this is going to be we want the guy. We want to be the guy who's going to have the shirt for 10 years and get excited about him and watch him grow. So it's a signing I can get on board with, but it's taking everyone a bit out of surprise, to be honest. It's a bit of a bolt from the blue, so
do you know what,
it's
Paul?
just taking a while to get your head round.
Do you know what? I just heard Jamie say that to you, and I get totally what you're saying. The truth is, Everton's squad needs to be bolstered, but you want youth, you want experience, and you want there to be a combination of both in certain areas. I don't think, on its own, Kyle Walker's a bad signing, but I think it'll be proven whether it is by the signings around him and about where the clubs see themselves being. If you end up signing two or three other... Not journeyman's not even the fair word, but
that's not a fair word. Don't put Kyle Walker in as a journeyman,
and that's why I've not used it.
Well, you just did.
No, I hesitated, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that what you want to see, you want your squad to be boosted with. Kyle Walker is a value to any squad, right? Any squad, because of what he's got under the belt, what he's done. But what you want to see is players around him, so that the team and the squad can build and go forward. And I'm guessing there's a little bit of both of those emotions, Paul. If you see the squad being built
for England not long ago,
look,
Everton have had our fingers burnt with these type of signings over the last 4 or 5 seasons. Though you got to remember, we had the likes of Dele Alli, we had Fabian Delph, we had Ashley Young as well, who did okay, but Young wasn't universally a popular player. So these type of signings can always go one of two ways. They either look really good, value for money, or they just end up being disasters.
But on the back of that, Paul, there's not a lot of layout, right? And you are getting, as Jay said, I think the best right back this country ever produced. And you said was, and I agree with that as well. But there's some value still in this signing. There is definitely value, because what he can add to that back four and what he can add to the squad. But I'm guessing, what I said earlier, you want to see other members being added where there's a future to this squad, a future to this Everton team.
The last couple of years at Everton, it's just kind of felt like we've been in a long, dark tunnel, and it's been hard graft kind of supporting the club and being patient. And I think fans are at the point now where we want to kind of feel like we're going forwards and we're building towards something, rather than just putting sticking plasters on all the time. And Kyle Walker, it's not his fault, as you said. He's had a great career, and he seems like he's a really great addition in the dressing room. But fans are at the point mentally and emotionally where we kind of feel like, look, we don't want to just keep going down this road where we're just trying to get through the next 6 months. We don't want to have short-term solutions all the time. We want to feel like we're building towards something, as Jason says. We want to feel like we're putting long-term answers in place, and we're going to see where it leads us. But David Moyes has got a very good track record when it comes to recruitment. It's probably his strongest. His biggest strength as a manager is he doesn't tend to get players wrong when he judges them. And David Moyes coming in is going to be making all the big decisions. The director of football's gone. We're not keeping that model anymore. Every signing who comes into Everton this summer is going to be someone who's got the approval of David Moyes, and I think he's someone who we should trust when it comes to rebuilding our team, because he's made his bread and butter of doing it his entire career.
Okay, if you are talking about a couple of signings that you need, where are the main positions and who would them players be?
We definitely need another centre forward. Calvert-Lewin looks like he's not going to be staying at the club. He's going to be moving on now. We've only got the guy Beto, who plays up front for us, who's very hot and cold, very hit and miss. He's not bad, but would you take him for Tottenham? No. Would you? So there's a lot of teams I don't think take him.
Hold on. I'll ask that question again, Paul.
Well, I mean,
ask the question again.
Again, and you know, I'm going to be honest. You ain't Tottenham.
Oh my God!
Tottenham just finished 17th.
Oh,
no, I know, mate. But
that's disgusting.
No, but like
that's disgusting.
No, it's not though.
No,
like, you say, would you take him at Tottenham?
No,
well,
Jay.
no, I wouldn't, because we're Tottenham, but you're Everton.
Oh, you've got some.
We're
fun,
Everton, mate, and we've had a bad time, but we're looking to get back in the top half of the table.
You've got some fun.
Yeah, top half.
Beto's
not a bad player. Like, you know, like who do you think? All right, who are you going to sign? You're not going to sign Ollie Watkins, are you?
No, we were. I was hoping that we were going to get back Liam Delap, but he's chosen Chelsea, and I don't
exactly. He's chosen Chelsea.
No, but again,
you got to remember what pond what pond you're fishing in here.
Hold on. You've got no right to be thrown.
I take what you're saying, but at the end of the day, finishing 12th or 13th isn't what Everton are going to be looking to do next season. We're looking to get back in the top 10, and over the next 3-4 years, look to get into Europe. And you've got to try and identify these players who are going to get you there. And sometimes you have to take gambles on people. Sometimes you have to you sign players who you think are going to do well and they don't, and some people might pleasantly surprise you. But if Everton just stick with the nucleus of what they've got now, then I don't really think Everton are going to push on and do much else, and that's not why. That's not what
I agree. You've got to sign the players like Delap. Like, would have been a great signing for you. I get that, but it's just, you know, finding these young players, finding them and trying to convince them to come to Everton and join that.
I'll tell you one player I'd love, Jamie, if you're willing to part with him. I'd love to have Richarlison back.
You can have him, mate.
He's not wanted at Tottenham.
I'll pay for the taxi.
Oh dear!
Really? You don't like?
It's been terrible for us. It's been awful. It's done nothing. You can have him back. It's the worst £60 million we spent, mate. So yeah, we'd send him back, no problem. I hope he does go to you.
Oh dear.
That would be my number one choice for the transfer window if we could bring Richarlison back.
I will snap your hand off.
How much are you going to pay, Paul? I'll broker the deal. What's your first offer?
It depends how much Everton have got to spend. The new owners are saying that there's money there, and David Moyes was very bullish.
So you got money. You're in the room with me. I'm Daniel Levy. Go on. Go on,
I broke the deal. What's your first offer?
Well, you've got to remember, mate, he's had injuries.
Now you're playing it down. Brilliant.
So you're playing it down.
I love that first take there, Paul. It's amazing.
You do realise that we have just had a conversation saying that you really want is your number one player that you want. So what's your offer?
What's my offer? 30 million.
Right, I want 50.
No, forget it.
Right.
No.
Right. Go and try and sign Delap again.
that deal's been done.
30 million, mate. You can have him. 1,000,000%. I think you'll get him cheaper than that.
Paul, where do you think? Because look, I hear both the arguments between you and Jay, right? When I grew up, Everton were the biggest clubs in the country, and they still are.
They still are.
No, they still are, but they were winning things. They were winning championships. They were winning European titles. This was a club that I grew up watching. You know.
No, they're a massive football club.
Gray up top. They had Ratcliffe at the back. They had Mountfield. You know, Neville Southall, the best British goalkeeper ever, by the way. And we're talking about a team that was stellar. But now I've watched this club, the slide. What are your expectations? I'm going to ask you: is it top half, or is that question unkind?
Short term, as in next season, the aspiration has got to be top half, because even on a bad season, I've grown up. Even though I'm a younger generation Evertonian, I've grown up with Everton being a team that was always perennially in the top half under David Moyes, and it's only when he left the club that we kind of went backwards, and we finished in the bottom half more than the top over the last 10 years. So we've got to re-establish ourselves again as a top half team, who, even in bad years, is always going to be 8th, 9th at the worst. But long term, the next 4 or 5 years, we're in this position, I kind of think Tottenham, where we just have to get a monkey off our back. We've got to get a trophy at some point. So much of the club will take care of itself if we can just break that trophy duck, because everyone was saying Tottenham had a trophy drought. Everton's goes back to 1995.
It does.
That's
right.
incredible.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the last time Everton won a pot. So we long term, next 3-4 seasons, we have to win a cup, and it can be done. Crystal Palace have just done it. Newcastle have just done it.
Right.
If you just get your house in order, and you get a good manager and a couple of players, then winning a cup is not that difficult. It's really not. West Ham managed it a few years ago as well. So next season, I want to see us push and get back in the top half. But over the next 3, 4, 5 years, I want to see us christen the stadium with a new trophy.
Look, you're going into the Hill Dickinson Stadium, pre-season friendly. You got Roma, right? That'd be a decent game to have there. Is that the opening one?
That's the opening one, yeah. We played Roma, I think, last pre-season as well. They're the sister club of Everton now. They're who our owners, the Friedkin Group, own also. So I hope we don't have a situation where we end up finishing in Europe and then we have a situation where Palace have got with their owner where the two clubs can't be in the same competition.
Nice problem.
Yeah, you're a long way from that, Paul. You're a long way from that, man. I wouldn't worry too much about that yet, pal.
Yeah, if that happens, Paul, let me tell you now, you'll take that conversation right now.
Sorry, what was that, Jason?
Okay, joking. Paul, if you find yourself in that situation next season, you'll take that conversation now, the fact that you might well be in Europe.
I'd take any trophy I can get, whether it's the Europa League, the Europa Conference League, the Carabao Cup. Everton needs to break that curse. It's been too long, especially when you see what the other team are doing across the park. They've had so many parades and great days over the last 10 years under their manager, and it's still going on now. Evertonians and on Merseyside, we really want to have our day where the city's awash with blue and we're having a parade and we're just having a day where we're all celebrating and coming together and being really proud of our club. We need to have one of those days, and I'm hoping that we can get there over the next couple of years. That's got to be what we're aiming towards.
Paul, you're a star, mate. Really appreciate your time.
Paul.
Thank you.
Have a good summer, bud.
Thank you, bud.